For the last year and a half, local photographer, artist and curator Penelope Morgan has been working full-time in a studio space located between the Edwards and Rudderless record store. Penelope is about to unveil this space as Golden Galleries, which will showcase a new artist every 6 weeks and is set to be launched this Friday with Julie McVey's first solo show called But a Dream. Here's our chat with Penelope about her incredibly expansive career and the launch of Golden Galleries. Let's kick things off by talking about the incredible adventure of a career that you've had. Can you tell me a little bit about your own evolution and the types of stuff that you've worked on?
Sure. So I started off leaving school thinking I needed to be a lawyer. So I went to law school for a total of 6 months before taking a really fun road trip with the girls and seeing the world and realizing that I actually really wanted to be a creative person. And so I ended up going to fashion school in Sydney and absolutely loved it. But I didn't go into fashion design. I ended up going into fashion PR. I'm not sure why exactly, but that's just the way it happened. And I was working for one of the top agencies in Sydney, which was really fun and exciting. And then I ended up maybe doing that for 3 or so years, and I ended up I felt like it was a bit of a performance doing fashion PR, and I felt as though I was building up these kind of skills as an actor, and I thought I'll go and study acting and try that out because I feel like I do that in my everyday. And I did do that. I got into the Screen Actors course, and there was about 200 people auditioning, and I think because I was so green, I was so naive to it, I just flicked it and got in. And that sort of set off this journey into acting, and I ended up going to LA and getting a manager there, and that was really surreal because I was doing auditions under the Hollywood sign, but I did find it to be a really sexist environment, and it was a big boys club, and it was before Harvey Weinstein and all of these things came out about Hollywood. But I did feel it in my body. I didn't think that it was right, and I didn't think it had anything to do with creativity anymore. It became a bit of a sleaze fest. So I ended up quitting, and I'd fallen in love anyway with the guy that I'm with now, and he was living in New Zealand on an island with no power or electricity, and it was just such a different kind of world, and I thought I don't need to battle it out here, though I have some friends who did, and they've done amazing things. And so I ended up wanting to explore this side of my sexuality, I guess, and kind of be strong in it and own it and not be afraid of it, because I did feel like there were predators sort of wanting to jump and take advantage of me, and I just didn't know. I was naive to it. I didn't know how to react. So burlesque kind of gave me that confidence and that power to be womanly and sexy and strong, and also so creative because I was doing my own costumes, my own music choice, my own set design, and I ended up doing 2 shows before getting picked up by the Hilton hotels in Sydney, and I ended up performing for them for really a long time, and then this is a bit of a plot twist. I realised that I was getting quite tired of dancing and performing, so I ended up opening up a cafe with my brother in Newtown.
That's awesome.
And that was really hard work. But it was another adventure. I used money that I'd got from dancing and from a TV commercial I did for Gloria Jeans or something. And we opened up the cafe. So that was really fun. Actually, the Newtown cafe is still there. It's called Rolling Penny. Yeah,
Aww.
And that's beautiful.
Named after you?
Yeah, my brother named, yeah. The first cafe that we opened was in Ultimo, and that was called Penny Cafe.
Aww.
Which was a bit embarrassing when people would come and say, "Oh, you're Penny," and I'm like, I didn't name it after myself. But yeah,
that's so funny.
That's the summary of my life.
Oh
no, and then to now, after the cafe, I was still doing burlesque, but I fell pregnant with my partner who was living in New Zealand with no power or electricity, and then we ended up being together after I left LA. So I opened the cafe. I ended up being pregnant, having the cafe, and I was still doing a few burlesque shows. And it was exhausting. So I ended up having the 6 months maternity leave, and I picked up a camera and I had an agent for acting and dancing and things, and they ended up sending me models to shoot. So they were new models.
Yes.
And it paid so well, the best money I'd ever had, and I was building model portfolios for a long time in Sydney. And then I've kept doing that for 8 years. I do e-commerce and fashion now and advertising.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah.
And so surely it would be really helpful being able to like direct people who are now in front of your camera from having so much experience. Do you find that?
I do. I find that I can completely understand the nerves, and also I feel like when I'm shooting, just to make people feel super comfortable and conversational, and it helps having been on that front. Like I'm a bit nervous now actually, because I haven't done it for so long. But it is good to have that knowledge.
It's always scary, and it sounds like such a shitty experience to have gone through like all of the sexism in LA. Do you feel far removed from it now and like have been able to like shake it all away?
To a certain extent, I do feel like we have a really, really long way to go. Until I just want things to be equal. And now that I have a beautiful 8-year-old girl, I can see that things are still not. And the powers are still very much male dominated, and I think the way the world runs is very, we just have a long way to go.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
What have been some of your proudest moments since moving into this space?
Oh, well, I'm so excited for the first exhibition.
Yes, awesome.
So that's really
awesome.
Exciting. It's been really nice to have such a beautiful community with the Edwards and Rudderless Records. I feel really proud that I was able to take the space and turn it into, it started as my photography studio. And then I was sitting there every day working amongst the white walls and thought, well, this would be a perfect place to support artists, because I am just working in here every day anyway, and there's so much foot traffic, and it's such a cool, creative little community here. So I think I'm coming into that part now of being really proud of the little space and what it's becoming.
Yes. And how did you get the name Golden Galleries?
Oh,
it couldn't have been Penny Gallery.
That would be really bad.
Just keep it going. Keep it going.
No, Soph, my daughter, I threw it out there and said, what should the name be? And she just turned around and said, Golden Galleries, Mummy.
Stop it.
Yeah.
What? Oh my gosh.
And she's a creative little spark, and I've found that all her ideas, because they come just straight off the cuff, they're really good and innocent and beautiful, and I loved it, and it kind of had that old world glamour feel.
Absolutely.
And,
wow, that's incredible. And so this is actually going to be a 6-weekly thing, right? With a new artist each time.
Yeah.
So tell me about this first artist that we have, Julie McVey.
Yeah.
Why did you want her to kick this all off for you?
Well, Julie I love the way she has so much craftswomanship with her artwork, and she it's so detailed, and it does remind me of past old worldly glamour, of which I love from burlesque, and it's very feminine and dreamy and hopeful, and it kind of transports you to another place, which is really fun.
And tell us about the opening night. So I saw that there will be bubbles available, and it's all kicking off from 6 p.m. this Friday night. Yeah, what can we expect?
Yeah, so it'll be 6 o'clock, and the guys from Rudderless will have their live music happening.
Yes.
The Edwards are providing the bubbles, and we will just have flowers and art, and there'll be an artist talk, and I'll say a word because it's the grand opening. So I think it'll just be a really good buzz of creative community, which will be exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And what do you hope to showcase in Golden Galleries moving forward?
I really hope to support work and artists that have a story to tell, and that I know art is tricky because everyone feels something completely different for a different artwork, which variety is fantastic, and I would love to have a whole sort of lot of different styles throughout the years. But I really feel art is a place of hope and beauty, and I am attracted to that. Obviously the darker kind of stories and narratives that come through art are really important as well, but with that kind of glimmer of hope is always beautiful too. I'd like to be able to take people on a journey and for them to come out and feel something. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Well, best of luck for this Friday night. I can't wait to pop down. It's going to be heaps of fun. Thank you so much for chatting with me.
Thank you for chatting and coming along.